What's up, everybody? So I just want to hop on here. A lot of people recently brought up the Stanford study, which is finally somewhat admitting, what we've known for years now about the heart damage, especially in young people, young boys, from these nanoweapon injections. And of course, they're still doing the same song and dance to a slightly lesser degree. They always have to add, but it's still safe and effective. It's still rare and transient, mild, and all the usual buzzwords and platitudes. Um, but there's something interesting I saw that they mentioned in the article about that Stanford study. One in 16,750 um, people under the age 30 or younger have myocarditis. I mean, how many millions got it? And then just recently, we also had the FDA, the new FDA commissioner, saying that 1 in 2,600 boys have some form of myocarditis from these injections. I mean, that's insane. That's insane. I mean, it explains why we saw people dropping on the field, still do. And of course, many of the studies didn't even really acknowledge this. They tried to wrap it all up into some sort of operational classification or definition that would allow them to pin it on, the COVID virus. But there's been so many studies now, and it's just coming to a head, I believe. I mean, I saw another one, and I'm going to link all this below this podcast in this post in this article. There was another one. It was very well known, respected cardiologist saying that 20,000 out of a million kids have myocarditis, and the scary thing is that it's often asymptomatic. And that's another way that these studies, these, pharma-funded studies were able to BS the public because depending upon the diagnostic criteria, the imaging, the various thresholds they use, they could say, "Oh, that's not myocarditis." Well, even, so-called subclinical myocarditis or myopericarditis can lead to fibrosis, scarring, and fatal arrhythmias, the much higher risk of fatal arrhythmias for the rest of your life. So if young boys are the most susceptible and they're getting it at a very young age, and then they might not be showing any symptoms, but beforehand they were participating in sports and they continue, they're increasing their risk of just dropping dead. So it's insane. It's still being understated, but at least we're getting it out there more than ever. It's disgusting to see these people trying to save the face and trying to artfully backpedal and whatnot. Um, but the statistics are there and they've been there. I mean, 20% of sudden deaths in young people are linked to myocarditis. I mean, how many people are walking around with this subclinical shit and in a sense are literally a ticking, their heart beating time bomb? It's crazy. It's crazy. Um Anyway, that was just something I wanted to get off my chest. I was thinking about that among other things, among many things. Uh oh, and a quick note on so I'm sort of switching things up a little bit with my posts and stuff. I know I had originally said, and I meant it, I wasn't lying at the time. I was like, I'm never the only thing that'll be paid is the eventually these podcast episodes once I get it more formalized. Because I hope to also, get to the point of interviewing interesting people and stuff. But I said, like, only the podcast would be paid. Well, so something I noticed over the past year, I would see a lot of authors in Substack, some with huge followings, some with like almost non-existent followings, and some in the middle, all across the spectrum, basically saying that they were noticing like their subscriber counts like just completely stagnating after continuous growth, that their metrics were all going down despite having more followers and subscribers than ever. And at first, I kind of just thought it was a case by case basis and sort of disregarded it as like just some sort of idiosyncratic thing. Um, Then I just kept seeing more and more people saying it, and then I heard about, like, how Substack was sort of shifting its algorithm and, prioritizing sort of these paid growth lists and everything, and I really started to notice it myself, where just complete stagnation, and, like, I'll get email updates saying, like, so and so subscribed," and then when I go and check my subscriber total, it's down, like, and this is, like, happening almost every time now, and it's really weird, and, I think it's because of that, I think it's because of the shifts, and I've noticed a lot of sort of public personas. I mean, freaking Kamala Harris joined Substack. I've noticed other big names, a lot of people that frankly are not on our side of the equation, people that are we're all for centralized government, all for pushing the jabs, all for, all the propaganda, just feeding it to the people, like manipulating them to get them to drink from the trough. I notice a lot more of them seem to be bringing their followers, their mindless sheeple over to Substack. Um, and so, ultimately Substack's a business. I get it from that perspective. But, I never started this my primary motivation was not money, obviously. My primary motivation is always has always been and always will be to get the word out to grow. And if this whole shift is, like, basically throttling me and many others, throttling our ability to even gain free subscribers, then I have to adapt because my goal is to continue to grow and get the word out. And one way to do that is to, apparently the most significant way now is to increase, payment pay subscriber amounts, but I think that you can get people to do a 7-day free trial where they don't even end up having to pay anything, but I believe that'll still show up as, like, a paid add-on, and that'll boost, increase visibility. So, that's one way. I'm just trying to get people to, like, go for free trials, I guess. But most of my articles will always remain free. I'll probably do if I have a plan, it'll be like 1 article a week, probably maybe Sundays. We'll have like a paywall, and then I'll probably end up removing that paywall at a later date. But I'm just doing this honestly to because it's ridiculous. Frankly, I put in a lot of work and time sometimes for some of these articles, and I put my neck out there, and people think I'm crazy and whatnot. Um, So I'm gonna do what I have to do to just get the word out, not even necessarily, like I said, more money, but if simply getting a free, trial subscriber who then cancels but was sort of categorized as paid or quasi paid, if that helps, sort of return my visibility and presence to what it was before these changes, which happened, I believe, halfway through 2025, then I'm gonna do that because I've worked too hard to just see everything just completely stagnate because of algorithmic shit. Um, anyway, so that's just a note on that. Yeah, I'm keeping this one brief today. It's we got some serious snow for the first time this winter here, where I'm in my neck of the woods on the eastern seaboard. That's uh, that's the eastern coast of the U.S. for those of you outside of the country. Um, so yeah, I might go out in the wind and feel like a little child. So wish me luck. I think it's like 10 degrees with the wind chill or something, but I'm gonna detach from the computer for a little bit. Anyway, I just wanted to drop in and just, mention the heart study, the Stanford thing, and just that little thing about the what's going on with what I believe wholeheartedly is going on with Substack and why I sort of shift my perspective a little bit. Um, but yeah, I'll keep the articles coming as always, keep them churning, because that's all I know how to do. So I'm gonna keep doing it. So I appreciate all you for reading, and watching and, fighting the good fight and speaking your mind and, having good intentions and doing what we're all trying to do. Let's keep at it.